Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gamernomicon. I know it's been a little while, but we're going to come back with new stuff. We got gameplay this time. Are you guys excited?
Woo! Excited!
Yay.
This is so...
That's you guys don't know that, but that's actually, that's as high as it goes.
For Jeff.
That's as high as it goes.
I can get excited for some stuff internally.
Yeah, like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you already been there.
Yeah, okay.
You already
All right,
been
so
there.
we got Maurice.
Mike,
Jeff.
All right, there we go.
ゲームナマカンは
いい
ご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Good job.
And scene.
Yeah, all right. Now we got that set. Maybe I can take one of the little scorecards. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know
Put
if
some
I'll
actual
put,
sponsors up there.
put that sponsors.
By
Me.
Jeff's body.
I paid
Body
for
by Jeff.
everything in this closet right now. So I mean, it's mostly my clothes.
Closet. Clothes.
But
set.
But
Set of clothes.
we can call it clothes, or we can call it soundproofing.
We could
How
if you...
about
It's soundproofing.
It's
That-
soundproofing.
That sounds a little more professional
It is soundproofing.
It's soundproofing.
than just having clothes hanging around.
It's all about how you...
that? I mean, what do you want from me? It's my closet.
True.
All right, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about Destiny 2. The game came out, what has it been? It's been 2 weeks already, right?
about maybe
a
it
week
came out
and
the
a-
6th.
almost a
No,
week.
it
Yeah,
came
I
out
think
the
it's only
6th.
1 week.
Today is like...
It came out the 6th?
It came out the 6th,
Oh,
my
okay,
friend.
well then it's
Jeez,
been
it's
like
been
2
Today's the
weeks.
24th.
Yeah.
Man, where did the other week go?
Well, it's because we've been playing Destiny this entire time.
Yes.
Man.
Speaking of which, it is fun.
lost
I
time.
enjoy myself playing this game.
Yeah. Initial reaction, I think it's better than Destiny 1.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
Why?
Okay. Well, first off, my big thing is the stories, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm always coming from, and I really enjoyed the story from Destiny 1, but it just sort of ended without really answering any questions. It sort of just made more questions than it answered, and just petered out. There wasn't really like a big finale, you know.
Yeah.
But this one,
I mean, it was
yes,
technically.
yes, but like
It left
my
you
thing
wanting
is, it's
more,
like,
though.
yeah, there's like so they're talking about the darkness and everything, but like I ended the game like, well, what is it? Because it's not the Cabal, it's not the Fallen, it's not the Vex. So what
The
is
darkness
it?
is
You know?
everything
Like,
that isn't the light guardian.
yeah, I'm like, is that it? Like, I don't know what's going on, you know. But this one, they started the story with an issue. They were like, here's the problem.
Clear bad guy.
And then you go through the story, and the story ends with you defeating that
Yeah,
problem,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and overcoming it. And then something big happens. You know, it changes the whole nature of the story. And so, even though the game, you know, was kind of short, I mean, it could have been worse. I definitely got a good, decent amount of gameplay out of it, and I'm still doing new things. So I'm not bashing the length of the game, but even though the story itself didn't have a whole lot to it, it still felt complete.
Like
it
a
still
full
felt,
chapter.
yeah, it still felt meaningful. It still had content, and now there's like this big open new thing, and it leaves me excited for Destiny 3. I want to see what's gonna happen next.
Or at least
So,
the DLC.
So exactly. So now, you know, I might actually buy the Destiny 2 DLCs, like, because I don't feel like they're trying to sell me the rest of the story. I feel like they're selling
Trying
me
to
DLC.
more
Selling me
content.
new stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So
that's
an
true.
addition instead of a
so
completion.
I don't really. I might pick it up now. When Call of Duty comes out, maybe I'll never touch Destiny 2
don't know
again.
when
I don't know.
The later game we're going to talk about Monster Hunter when that comes out.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That's
Monster Hunter
true.
World.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's all in January, though.
We're gonna be playing Call of Duty for like 2 months, and then or 3 months, because it comes out at the end of January, and then we're gonna be playing Monster Hunter forever. But we'll see what happens. If with Black Ops 3, the last Call of Duty I played, where everybody was playing it together, like you and me and all that, I ended up beating the game and getting gold everything before the first DLC dropped. So
Nard
we'll
Dog
see
has a
what happens.
PS4 now, so we
That's
got
what
the
does
crew
have a
back
PS4.
together.
Are we gonna?
I mean,
I don't know. Is he getting the game?
Do clan stuff?
I'm quite
Is
sure.
he getting the
I
game?
would assume he's going to get it.
Is everybody?
I don't know.
down
But
for clan stuff?
shoot.
That's besides the point.
You're going to ask
We're talking
me that
about-
question? You're going to
talking
ask
about-
me that
No,
question?
I'm okay. Let me be specific.
I did
Let me
some
be
clan
specific.
stuff, thank you very much.
No. I'm not
No.
trying to. This isn't like
I
me
know.
attacking. This is me genuinely.
I
Just
know.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
Because in Ghost, man,
if
so
everybody,
much. We got the gold
Yeah.
in Ghost. Clan level, I think, was like
I don't
23 or
really
something like
remember,
that.
but
if
Yeah.
everybody's down to play it, sure. But back to the topic, Destiny.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us back, man.
You're welcome. That's what I'm trying to do now. Call it
That's
defibrillating
my thing.
now.
Defibrillating Jeff.
But I mean, I can see that. I think part of the reason why the story was very short, if you only do the story,
Mm-hmm.
like if you only do story quests, very short. But What I think was done well is that it kind of guided you along to get into a point where it's like, all right, I did a quest and I'm not forced back out of like the realm of being in this fight. So like
Right.
I do a quest, I'm pushed back to the next quest, into the next quest until basically you had the same formula. You do all the story quests for Earth, do all the story quests for Titan, you do all of them for Nessus and then Io, and then that's where it kind of starts to like drop you where you do one mission at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then back to Earth.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
again, it was
but-
still
yeah,
it was
but-
still
yeah, but
like.
that's the thing,
But after
like-
you do all the planets, it starts to say, all right, well now you got one mission at a time.
Yeah.
You decide when you want to do the next
Yeah,
thing.
you'll end a mission, and then the starter for the next mission
Yeah.
will be a couple of miles that way or whatever.
They
and
also
you can choose
added
where the
in
mission will
side
go.
quests, which
Yeah.
is a very big thing. Where
Yeah.
it felt very story heavy, where it was like part of the
Yeah,
world.
the
that you
side
really,
quests mean something to
yeah,
what's
yeah,
going on.
You still have the patrols, which is separate.
Mhm.
But I think those side quests actually.
The adventures and the quests.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
quests
yeah.
are the
Well,
blue
the
markers,
side
the
quests
adventures
are the
the
adventures.
All the orange
Yeah.
markers.
Yeah. So the orange markers, yeah.
Yeah.
Those added a nice element to feel like a fuller game than what was
I
presented.
like the lost sectors
A
too.
little bit. Not that it was
Yeah.
bad that it was a short story. I mean, you don't need an super extensive story, but it felt nice. It's a lot of content that I haven't seen yet, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've been playing it almost every day for like 2 weeks, and there's still a bunch of stuff that I haven't done.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I like So another one of the things that I'm not necessarily concerned about, but something I noticed is like it's way easier to get exotics now, and it's way easier to like level up. It seems like they're trying to push you back to like to your legend status, you know. So the cool thing about Destiny 2 is at the beginning of the game, you do end up losing your light, but they make you at first you have your light, and then it gets taken from you. And I think that they did that, and it was nice that they did that instead of just saying, oh, okay, yeah, you know, you start off the game with no light. They could have did all that and saying you start off with no light. But you had the light, then it was taken from you, and then all of a sudden you're walking through the city and you're like, oh, cool, a ledge. I can't double jump anymore. What is this?
Yeah.
I can't throw grenades.
That's when it really hits you.
My only problem is that I was watching a video about this guy doing a review on the same thing, but my problem is that you got your light back too fast.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
I think we all
feel.
agree about that.
It happened way too
Only
quick.
one quest. Like,
And it's like, it was the first thing you really do. It's like, all right, so I experience the world, I'm at the farm, and then I get one of my abilities back. It's like, I didn't do anything to really earn
Yeah.
it as a
Yeah.
player. It was just given to me.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good as it would.
And that was my
Yeah.
problem with like the whole drop system of like just the subclass itself.
Mhm.
Outside of the one issue where I dropped, like I had to drop for I think
Yeah. You
the
should explain
void-
that issue while
I mean,
we're here.
it's not too detailed. It's just really kind of dumb. But you had like the whole each subclass will come as a random drop.
Yeah.
What I think would happen is at a certain level, it will start to drop randomly. So if you didn't hit a certain level, it wouldn't drop. That's what it felt like at least.
yeah.
But you hit a certain level and it'll drop. And what happened to me was that I had the
drop for the second class.
gunslinger. What's the void one called?
Shadow something.
Shadow Stalker?
It's Night Stalker.
Night Stalker, yeah. So I was using the Arc Strider originally, and then I had the drop for the Gunslinger, and I don't really want to use the Gunslinger, so I was like, all right, let me just leave it to the side. And I never went to do the quests, and I think I was on Titan. And while I was on Titan, I think I hit like level 15 or something, somewhere around there. And then what ended up happening was that the drop came from a random loot box for the Void class. But because I didn't go and complete the shard mission to actually fully
For the
unlock the Gunslinger, I couldn't pick up the extra one because I didn't have a slot to pick up the Void class.
Right.
So I had to wait. I went through. I did the mission for the Gunslinger. When I came back to Titan, I started playing. I think I did maybe a couple of
You had to wait for the drop again.
public events or something, and then the drop came up.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't know how much longer I could have potentially waited, but what I think should have been done is that you should have had a more concrete, like, all right, because there's 20 levels, you have maybe from level 1 through 8, you play 1 through 12, I'll say 1 through 12, you get your Gunslinger, and then it's like, all right, at that point you get to mess around with the Gunslinger a little bit. Around 16 is where you start to get the next one, and then you kind of finish the game with whatever class you want to.
Right.
And that, I feel like that would have been cool. Or even, 1 through 5, 5 through 10, 5 through 15, so 15 through 20, when they expect you to finish the game, you can have all the stuff fully leveled up, and you kind of choose what you really want to use.
I think the reason they did that, the way they did now, is because so the way to unlock the new subclass is you randomly get the drop. Then you got to kill a bunch of enemies and do some public events and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have to take the, I guess, fractured material to the shard, only to absorb the full material, into the new weapon. So if you had gotten that second subclass shard, then you would be able to level up both Gunslinger and the other one at the same time.
Yeah,
they didn't want you to double get.
Well, no, but like,
and then shard and then right shard.
You could easily, because each of those quests is a quest,
Yeah.
So it's not like you could go to the shard and then be like, well, let's just do both while I'm here.
You just go to the shard and then, maybe they just didn't feel like programming it.
Yeah.
Because then if you go to the shard, like, which one do we,
It could have been just like, what classes you're going. All 3 classes your character's going to have.
It should have just not dropped for you.
It's not like a secret. Yeah. Either that, it shouldn't have dropped, but because they have the drop system working that way, I would think that it'll be more efficient so that nobody has that issue. It's just that, like, it doesn't even need to be like you unlock the whole class by hitting a level. Like, you get to the level and you still have to go through and upgrade it to 100% before you take it to the shard and fully unlock the class. Like, that would be better, and I feel like that'll be a little more. I wouldn't feel like I could potentially get cheated out of
Yeah.
But
the whole
overall,
feature of the game.
I had fun.
But that's the only real major issue I had with the game.
Yeah.
It feels nice. It plays like Destiny 1, which is good.
Yeah.
It changed it up a little bit in terms of how certain things feel. And what I mentioned before we started talking about started the podcast is that they I noticed certain things of like where they put out an update and then it would change certain parts of the game. So it's like maybe something wasn't working the way they wanted to, or wasn't placed in the right spot. They will update it, and then you kind of see that change. It happened sort of seamless, where you realize where like something feels a little different, and you kind of remember like maybe there was a issue with like a drop not working or something, and then you realize all of a sudden it started working, stuff like that. And I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Where they don't need to announce their problems necessarily. So.
Right. My biggest thing that I really enjoy that I wanted to mention is they did exactly what you said with the light, as far as how to portray it to the players now, because like I like that so much better. It's like now when you start a quest or do a mission or whatever, it'll tell you your recommended light level be 180 or 190 or something like that, as opposed to like
good luck
level, as opposed to 22. Your level 22 or whatever. And it's a lot more interesting because basically what was happening before is that even though the quest would say recommended level 22, and then you're like, well, I'm only 21, I should be able to do this. The difference in your actual power between those two things was gigantic.
Yeah.
But now that everything is based on your light level, like light level 21 used to be maybe like 100, whereas light level 22 was 200. So there was like this big gap there that you can't see. But now you can be light level like 150 and then be like, oh, that's light level 270. Like that's why I'm getting that's why
demolished.
I can't do this. I'm nowhere near where I'm supposed to be. And even though the mechanics of the game are the same, you still reach level 20, and then you get your armor to give you the rest of your light. Now it's so much easier for me to look at it and judge whether or not this is possible before I do it.
And what I also noticed, like, I get the point of levels in there because it's sort of like a way to guide the player along properly through the game, so they're not just getting super overpowered weapons later on. Even though you can make a second character and just transfer the stuff over, and then you're just broken from day one.
Right.
But
as soon as you hit level 20,
still hit the level 20. But like,
20.
So it's like, I mean, you just sit in the public world forever and do missions. Like you level up generally really quick.
Yeah, that's
what
so
I noticed
in this game.
It almost seems pointless to have those levels in that place, and it should be just straight light level.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
is it, because it's such a like seeing level 20 is like, all right, who cares? Everybody's level 20
exactly.
in like 2 days.
I'm like, that's one of the things that I felt about it as well. It's like if it's gonna be so easy to get from 1 to 20, and the only thing that matters, why is it even there?
Like it should be just a system where like you have this bar that increases where you
this level 20 person is stronger than this other level 20 person.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, that's exactly. I do
like,
agree.
There's no way to gauge the other person. Like it's different if you play like another MMO and like you're level 20, you see somebody level 60 or 70. It's like, well, it took me forever to get to 20. I can't imagine what happens when I get to 60. Like
exactly.
you kind of get that that
Yeah.
sense
Just
of like
make it
they're
100
really
levels or
good.
something like that.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
just make your light level.
Yeah,
your
your
level.
That's it.
Just make your light
That's
level.
it.
your
So we
level.
can only see people's light levels.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why it's so secretive where you gotta go into and
Because
inspect
I don't want
people and
people
all that
seeing my
stuff.
light level.
Yeah.
I prefer people seeing my light level.
Yeah, I wanna brandish my light level.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
I mean,
I'm 270.
but those are all
Hey
like
man,
you know
I
just
put your light level away, man.
277.
It's too bright.
But it's all like just nitpicking at that point. Like all
Can
in
your
all,
light level power a house guardian?
all in all, I haven't had an issue though with,
Yeah,
with
no.
how the game is functioning and playing. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I've had fun.
I won't say that I'm going to go crazy with this game
Mhm.
because you know, I mean, Call of Duty's coming out. If everybody else plays it,
I'm
by
gonna
all
play it.
means.
You already know.
Well,
Yeah,
when I
you
mean
know, I'm gonna
everybody,
play
I mean Bernard.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Or I mean
Nard
Nard Dog.
Name drop.
Nard Dog. My
we
bad.
said it. We said it in the podcast. Now he has to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're calling you out, Bernard Nard Dog. You get Call of Duty, man. I'm serious.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
we know
so
you got a
much.
PS4 now.
Use good call outs. They
I got
actually
proof.
have
Dug yourself
call out
into a hole
names.
with
You know
this
what you
one,
can do?
man.
You can
That
put
you
the
could
you can put
use.
the screenshot of the actual message that says "I got a PS4" right when I say that. That'd be perfect. That'd be nice.
You gotta take a picture of
Oh,
it.
I will.
Send me the picture.
All right, I'll do that.
All right.
But
Hold on, let me make a little note of that.
but yeah, but like, I don't see myself playing it too. Yeah, I don't see it playing too much. But I mean, since
Well, I'm just excited to like. I mean, Boots to the Ground is I'm just excited to get back to that. I wasn't
in
a
Call of
huge
Duty,
yes.
World War II.
Yes.
Okay.
And in Call of Duty
I'm
World
just
War
making
II,
sure that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's that and to get rid of the specialists. Like the specialists, I'm about tired of specialists.
Yeah.
Like not like I remember you saying something
yeah.
about it. Like it makes the game more complicated in terms of like you don't know what that guy has, but like in terms of like with the new game, right?
Mhm.
What me and Maurice were talking about mostly is at least what I was thinking about is just making a class is hella complicated with all this other stuff. Is like, okay, so I could choose to have a grenade, but then my guy won't have whatever power up that comes with this guy, or I could have that power up and sacrifice my grenade. And it's like they added more features to throw on your class, but they didn't add. It's still the same 10 class slots.
Yeah.
So it makes it really difficult to get where you want to be. Like it's just it just overwhelms you with like, okay, there's so many options that I don't know what to do.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I like it's like I like the freedom that comes along with that. Like I like that if you want to have a bunch of perks and no attachments, you can do that. And that's your trade-off. You have all these perks, but you have no attachments, or vice versa. Like, and that freedom is really cool from a gameplay perspective. You're not limiting your characters, but or your players, but. I think the problem with that is that creates in general an inherent balancing issue. Like all the old Call of Duties, you could only have at most like 3 attachments because having any more would be broken.
Yeah.
So now that there's no limitations, you can see in Infinite Warfare a lot of the perks are
They don't matter
pointless.
as much.
They
Yeah.
don't. It doesn't matter, and almost nobody uses them. I almost never see anybody use anything other than like ghosts or the other one that makes you invisible to blind eye. Yeah, that's really all people use, and everyone just loads up their primary weapon with a bunch of attachments because that's the most efficient way to play. There's no reason to have any of the other ones. Like I don't need hardline or anything like that, and so I like the freedom that comes along with it, but I think that it makes balancing the game a little bit more difficult, and it just creates a lot of useless stuff. Like there's all this stuff that you can do, but
You're only going to use half of it.
but you don't need to use half of it. So
Yeah.
it's just what's the point, So I mean, and that's partially, if the perks were better, then maybe it would be a tougher decision. But again, balancing, the fact of the matter is having your primary weapon is what you're using the entirety of the game. Everything else is just add-ons. So why not just make your primary weapon as strong as
The
it
best,
can possibly
yeah.
be? If you don't need anything else. The new Call of Duty has the
Divisions.
division system, which is, again, it has its own kind of complication. I mean, you were mentioning that the
Mountain Division.
you
sniper.
were mentioning that with Infinite Warfare, the create a class system is confusing with the rigs and everything, and I'll say it was in the beginning Absolutely. I was like, I don't understand what any of this is. After playing it for almost a year, I'm like, oh, cool, I got it. It's really simple. I just didn't sit down and
Yeah,
look at it.
but it used to be much
Like,
simpler.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it could be more simple, and so I don't know whether this new Call of Duty is going to be simple or more simple or less simple, more complicated. I don't know. But the thing for me is like with Black Ops 3, the specialists and their abilities was cool because each character only had one or the other. You had a special or a ability. With Infinite Warfare, not only everyone has everyone can pick two of six. You get one of three specials or one of three and one of three abilities. And it really does a whole lot to randomize the combat. And that's something that is not fun. Like, at least not to me. Like, and then combined with the fact that I can never tell the characters apart. Like in Black Ops 3, I had no problem. Oh, that's Spectre. Oh, that's Firebreak. Oh, it's obvious. But in this one, even though they do look different, like you can tell a Merc from another thing because they're bigger, but even if you know that's a Merc, you have no idea whether he has the bull charge or the Gatling gun thing, or the laser cannon, and then on top of that, he has an ability as well. You don't know if he's gonna have like the shield ability,
which is my whole issue with what you were bringing up earlier, which was the score streaks, where like. Yes, there's gonna be a lot of score streaks. That's not my forte. What I like prefer in the game. But if it's gonna be there, put some sort of notification of what they have, so that you can try to combat that. So like, all right, here's what a lot of people are using right now. Let me build a class that can counter that a lot easier, and not have to hope that I need to use it in the right situation where it's like, oh, this is what people are doing. This is what they have. I have a class for that.
Yeah, it would be nice.
So I can be ready from the moment that the game starts instead of having to wait to die in the game to figure out what I need to.
Yeah, it would be nice if, like with the specialist abilities and everything, you could see at the start of the match, what people had equipped. And that way you could go into that match saying, oh, they obviously have a lot of aerial score streaks. Let me make sure I
in
go
Black
into
Ops
this
3,
with this
it did
weapon.
it for, like, it shows you
not for the score streaks, but it did
it
for
the specialists, so you see what characters they had and which version they were using. That was cool. But then again, the score streaks, like, that's what really hurt you at the end of the day.
I think it'd be a lot of information and stuff on that screen.
It could be just
that's true.
But I mean, it all you really need is like just very simple icons that people are going to understand. And like it should be. Well, I can't say should be, but I would think it would be easier for a game that's kind of like making smaller changes through each game in terms of like what it needs to function, where it's like, all right, maybe we can do a little more cosmetic things with it to try to better the experience for other players.
Yeah, exactly.
UI stuff.
So then, that. So when you do that though, when you put the icons on the screen, like you got 6 out of 6, you got 6 on 6.
Yeah.
So that's 18, or it's so then you've got like. For those, each of them have 3, so that's 18 icons for the top people, and then 18 icons for the other people.
Not literally everything. I'm talking about like not like what they running and all that stuff. Like maybe something like.
No, I mean just all the streaks. Like there's 3 streaks per person.
Okay.
And it has so when it like you go into the menu, or like after the menu started, you go into the actual map or the match before the match.
Yeah.
Whatever, and then it has everybody on screen. If you haven't, are you going to be able to absorb all of that information? Like, okay, this guy's running these 3, but this guy's running these other 3. This guy's running these other 3, and it's like they all have 18 different ones.
With the amount of time that's running, that normal load times happen within the game, you get like maybe like between.
It's usually like 30 seconds.
30 seconds to a minute. To look at that, I can glance through and have a good idea of what people are running. And if it's something where
symbols are good, and have good gestalt, you can easily just glance at them and be like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, obviously that's a helicopter. It's a helicopter. I can see that 4 people on
something
screen
simple like that. Like it's a helicopter. Oh, it's a helicopter that has like a slight variation to it. Oh, it's this one. Oh, it's that one.
There's
like,
only 2 helicopters.
It's not that hard to make that kind of like visualization
no, I'm just saying,
on there.
For you to just be like, okay, so I'm gonna have to. You're gonna look at these 3 guys like, okay, these guys have helicopters, so I need to run a class that's against helicopters. Oh, but these guys gotta like these dogs.
Well, at that point, at that point you're making
strategy. And that's what I prefer is for you to try to sit in a situation where it's like you have this information displayed in front of you to the point where like I have to make a decision. Like, hey, do I want to use this class that I know is best set up for XYZ, or do I want to use this class that's best set up for ABC? Like I have to make that decision. and it's like, all right, well, maybe I think ABC is better because those score streaks they're using can be very harmful if they get a ball rolling kind of thing with that.
Yeah.
So it's like I can try to combat that and like, all right, well, I'll
So,
just let the other stuff go.
I
It's not
guess
that
right
big of a
now
deal.
it's more like poker. You don't know what's in the other
Yeah,
person's hand
exactly.
until.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Until like, but until you're like, but the thing is like the game is so hungry into like you have to kill to win kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like, and the problem is that maybe you as an individual is not that big of a deal. Whereas like maybe you'll die once. It's like, all right, well, I know what they're doing now. After you learn the game a little bit, you know what they're doing. But the problem is that when you have a team of like 6 people and everybody's dying once or twice before they realize what they should be or shouldn't be doing, you're already at a disadvantage. And that's only 2 deaths
All
for
right.
each team.
That wouldn't work in Ghost, but it might work in a lot of other games.
Yeah,
Because in
yeah.
Ghost, like each class had its own score streak set up.
Yeah.
So they'd have to show you so much for like, okay, so this one guy has these, let's see, 10 times 3, 30,
Sure, it's
and then this
definitely-
other guy has these 30 icons.
Yeah, no.
and
I
then
don't
definitely-
think
like-
you're talking about the entire class setup, just the kill streaks.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
In Ghosts, every class that you had 3 because you can go assault.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, I
So-
think that's the only one where it was tied to your class. Though.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's so I don't know if this new one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I'm saying. It's definitely something you have to design ahead of time
Yeah.
to come
Otherwise,
across.
it's like
But I think
crap
that's
spend.
a good. I feel like that would be a good way to go about it, especially if you're in this kind of like I won't say it's the golden age anymore. It's sort of like after that where it's still kind of pushing, where it's dealing with like the esports stuff. So it's like if you're gonna have these esport heavy kind of content, then you might as well kind of try to have a way to display so people can have a better way of strategizing going into a fight, which
Yeah.
you mentioned pro gamers have been complaining about quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so I've heard. I mean, I don't know any
Okay.
of them, but
Speculation
I've heard.
says.
I've heard
Programmers
in-
sitting there
in-
listening
in-
like,
I've heard. No, where I got that information was from a
I didn't know
video.
they were listening to us.
Yeah, I hope they are.
Hello, pro
appreciate
gamers.
it.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
My name is Mike.
Please train me.
I'm an Aries.
Um,
I enjoy long walks to the refrigerator.
So the Drifter video that I watched, what he was basically saying is that a lot of like pro players don't generally like randomization.
Yeah.
They don't like things that are randomized, and the more options your characters have or the players have, the more confusing and it is. And honestly, that's my big issue
Yeah.
with the jumping, is that like in the old Call of Duties, people couldn't just jump over you and sail into the sky and run and wall run. They were there. If that dude's behind the car, he's gonna be behind the car. The only thing he can do is run away.
Left,
and
right,
if he,
or
and
just
if he
jump a little
moves,
bit.
I can see him.
Yeah.
And I prefer that. Because you know where they're going to be. Because part of planning your strategy is predicting where the enemies are going to be. That's something that I love about Counter-Strike. Even though like I haven't played it, but I love watching it. And especially I like the videos where people like they have all these tricks and stuff like that where they can you look up in here and tilt your camera this way and throw a smoke grenade and it'll land perfectly on one of the pathways. And now you can either use that to your advantage and then run through that smoke, or you could play a trick and say, I'm going to go this way. There's smoke over here. So they're thinking you're coming from that way, but you're really going a different way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work when everyone's flying around all over the place, And most Call of Duties, no one uses the smoke anyway because it doesn't really do much.
Dude, I used to
But they're
smoke-
making it really good now. Like it's a lot better
in
than
Black
it
Ops
ever
3
used to
and
be.
in
Yeah.
this new one. It
Like,
fuzzes your covers your map down too.
Yep.
So
in Modern Warfare, the remastered, I used to smoke all the time when I
Exactly.
had to, because it's
Yeah.
like it worked really well in that game.
Exactly. Like
Like
and
it was definitely useful.
I am definitely excited to get back into that. I mean, for me, that is the pure Call of Duty experience
Yeah.
because it's just going back to what it used to be. For a lot of new players, it's this completely different experience, and a lot of people aren't going to like it because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that this is good. I want to go back to. I want to see. Like, what do we call you? I don't remember. I want to see
Jeffy
Jeff.
Kneecaps.
Yeah,
Jeffy
I want
Kneecaps.
to see Jeffy Kneecaps show. Like I want to see
Can't
Jeffy
shoot
Nickens.
kneecaps
I
if
want
they're
to see
80
I
feet
want
in
to
the
see
air now.
grenade kills. I want to see like, oh, if I stand here, because we used to do that stuff. Like, oh, they're taking B flag.
I
Let's
used to
just
do that all
throw
the
a
time.
grenade
Like
over
back
the
in
wall
Black Ops
because
2.
it'll land on B flag. Nobody does that anymore. You know.
Yeah.
Like now they can just jump 50 feet in the air and avoid the grenade.
Why
blast,
need flag
you know?
jacket when you can just...
When you can just evade. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. So like, and it just having everyone's movement abilities be all over means that everyone has more options. You know, they can just you know, if I see someone, they can just jump over my head, or they can jump backwards or fly over me. It's just they can go everywhere.
It's very chaotic.
You know, they can have a whole 180 degrees of movement. You know, whereas before you can only come at me or run away from me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my thing is
Counting on your sledgehammer.
I didn't. When
Counting on
it first came out in Advanced Warfare, I didn't mind it. I was like, this is pretty cool. I like this. And then when Black Ops 3 had the abilities, I was like, this is pretty cool. I like this. But now that I'm playing Infinite Warfare, which has both of those things, and it's just not very great, I'm just like, I'm done with this. I don't want this anymore. It's kind of just annoying.
Yeah.
It used to be cool when what was the guy who had the teleport backwards ability in Black Ops 3?
Oh, Glitch. It was Prophet.
Yeah.
Glitch was the ability.
It was cool when Prophet did it, but when any of the Synaptic people do it, and whatever,
cool when...
it's just like I just shit. We're gonna stop that right now. Okay. All right, that's the end of this episode. Oh, that's
cool.
cool. That was really high.
I'm sorry. That laugh was just... I'm sorry.
Right,
it was
we're
natural.
We're gonna end this episode right
It's
here.
a natural laugh.
That's the 30 minutes.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
if you have any other
man.
what are your takes on like your hopes for the new Call of Duty versus the old Call of Duties? Or as a matter of fact, which was the first Call of Duty you played? Mine was Black Ops 2. Some people played a little older games.
I started with Black Ops 1.
Or you started with Black Ops 1.
I even went back and played Modern
The
Warfare
first
2.
Call of Duty
That
Black
you
Ops
played.
2. Black Ops 2.
Yeah, mine was
Also
BO2.
first
You
one.
played
No,
Modern
no,
Warfare
3.
You played Modern
3.
Warfare
3 is
3.
my first one. Yeah,
Okay.
I forgot
Modern
about
Warfare
that.
3.
It wasn't that long. It was a few
I'm the
months.
old guy. I'm the old guy in this,
Alright, well,
in this thing.
Let us know in the comments down below where you started. What are your take on the new ones versus the old ones,
Yeah,
and
I'm interested to have a
what you're hoping
conversation with
for.
people.
And Destiny 2.
Oh yeah.
and
tell
what's
us
your
how you
take
feel
on
about
Destiny?
as well.
Yeah,
If you haven't bought it yet, you know, maybe pick it up. Maybe rent it and see if you like it.
Yeah.
I would recommend it, even though I trashed a lot of the first game a little bit. I definitely enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
mean,
game.
it's the same but better.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
So
It
it's
was
like
good.
Like, favorite, subscribe. Thank you very much, and
See you later.
see you later. Gamernomicon out.
Alrighty then.